Hello, welcome everybody to Release Readiness Live. I'm Elna Miller, your community moderator, and I'm with you all this week to talk about some of the great new features in the Spring 19 release across all the major clouds. And today we have with us the team from the Service Cloud. Now, what I love about Release Readiness Live is no matter what type of Trailblazer you are, whether this is your first release or your 20th, you will learn something new that you can use. Our product managers are right here in the studio to give you live demos and take questions on the air. Speaking of questions, I'm very excited to welcome back our original community rock star, Sam Acuff, who's going to tell us all about how we're going to deal with questions today.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Elna. It's really easy. All you need to remember to do is use the hashtag Salesforce Live. We take questions in the Release Readiness Trailblazer community group or in Twitter. All you need to use is that hashtag Salesforce Live. Now, we have a great policy. We leave no question behind. So if we don't get to your questions on the air, we will follow up in the next few days and make sure that we answer that question personally. So Elna, back to you. Just remember, hashtag Salesforce Live.
Thank you, Sam. We are definitely looking forward to your questions. And also, we are recording this broadcast, so you will be able to watch it back or share it with others later. And now, since we may be covering some forward-looking statements in some roadmap slides, we just want to remind you to please make your purchasing decisions based on currently available functionality. And with that, let's go ahead and meet our product managers today.
Hi, I am Nupur Bakshi. I'm relatively new to Salesforce, in fact, 2 weeks short of my 6-month mark, and so I'm super excited to be here for my first Release Readiness Live. While I'm a PM for case management, today I'll be covering features across core services, including knowledge, agent productivity, lightning flow, and email and phone channels.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruby Kanda and I am a PM for Einstein Bots. I've only been at Salesforce for about 6 months, but prior to that I was actually a Salesforce customer and I've deployed and implemented almost every Salesforce product and service that we sell. So I'm very excited to be here today and share with you what is upcoming for Einstein Bots, as well as what is upcoming for Service Einstein, case classification, and article recommendation.
Hi everyone, my name is Eddie Cliff. I've been with Salesforce for a little over 8 years and part of the digital engagement team within Service Cloud. Now I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds like a new way to propose online, but it's actually a new way to connect with your customers on their channel of choice.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Brendelaire. I've been working on field service so far, and basically today I will show you cool stuff for your dispatcher and technicians, and maybe also a little bit of IoT.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody. And Nupur, you're on.
All right. Before we begin, I want to take a moment on behalf of everyone here at Service Cloud to thank you, our customers and partners. You're doing amazing things with Service Cloud, and we're very grateful to be part of that journey. We truly value your feedback so that we can make great plans for the future of our products. Now let's jump in, starting with case management. So in Spring 19, we brought across features that you've told us that are missing for your Lightning migration strategy, namely case hierarchies, case contact roles, and accept case. Case hierarchies is essentially a tree representation of the parent-child iterative relationship. Case contact roles is the ability to assign multiple contacts to a case. So for example, take you have a problem with a contract negotiation and a case has been opened. Well, you could need a paralegal, a senior lawyer, maybe even a project manager because it's an escalated issue, and you can have all these contacts on the same case as contact roles. An accept case is a standard button to be able for the agent to accept case. All these features, again, are parity features that you told us were essential for your Lightning transition. As we move forward into 2019, we're looking at case merge. Case merge is the most voted idea on Idea Exchange for case management, and so we're taking a closer look and digging deep into figuring out how to provide this feature. Essentially, the agent will have the ability to merge up to 3 cases at a time. Following case merge, we're looking at case split, which would be the ability to create a new case based on items in the chatter feed. These are the features you've asked us for case management, especially for your Lightning transitions journey, and that's what we've been focusing on. Next up is knowledge. Now, the team has spent a ton of time working on the pilot and beta for the Lightning Knowledge Migration tool. And I'm happy to announce that in spring 19, we're finally GA. So if you're looking to do moving Lightning knowledge over, then go out and read the documentation and start to play with the Lightning Knowledge tool, which will be available in Sandbox pretty soon here in the next week or so. While we've been working on this big ticket item, the team continues to work on smaller, powerful features, namely related files and communities. And you've always had mass publish and assign in articles for a while now. What we're bringing in this particular release is mass archive of articles. Also in this release is the restore past articles. And upcoming for the knowledge piece is inline edit. Right now, when you go edit an article, a dialog box pops up, and it's really not very efficient. So we're looking to work on functionality to make inline edit of articles possible. And we're also adding the ability to search and author articles in any object via the knowledge component. Moving on to Lightning Flow for Service. Lightning Flow for Service is really looking at business processes that you have that you can automate and use over and over again consistently across your organization. The key highlights for Spring 19 for Lightning Flow is the resume paused flow from action list. So I'll demo this a little bit later, but essentially now you can embed a flow in a community. So you could have a customer start a flow in the community and say they ran out of time, got busy, and they paused the flow. What they can do now is call in, and the agent is not going to go back and ask them all those questions they filled in. That's the worst customer experience that we usually have, where you've done all this work and you call in and they're like, yes, what's your name again? What are you calling about? Well, with the resume paused flow, the agent actually already sees where you paused the flow, has all the information from the customer, and then just continues the conversation from there. Another feature that I want to really talk about, and I will demo, is the customer contact list. Remember the time when you had to wait 23 minutes on the phone for that agent to get to you? Well, that is a thing of the past now. With customer contact request, your customers can go to the community and just request to be called back so that they're not, waiting on the phone for that agent to show up. But as soon as an agent is available, they can take that request and call the customer back. What's upcoming in Lightning Flow for Service? We're looking at next best action in guided action lists. Essentially, we're integrating the concept of next best action into the guided action list so that the guided action list will show you the next best action based on anything that's happening in the underlying record. Agent productivity. Now, everything we do is centered around customer success and agent productivity. But even then, we have a key focus on some basic functionality that we continue to add and enhance. For Spring 19, we've actually brought forward Close Tab, which was a classic feature, so that now the macro can actually close a tab once it's done. But what's upcoming really is the conditional macro GA. Now, if you've watched Winter 19 live with my teammate Kana, she was talking about this as an upcoming feature. It's in pilot right now, but the GA is coming pretty soon. Essentially, what is conditional macros? Say you have a case in new status and you want to send a particular email template. But for that same case, say it's in waiting for info status. Now, at this point, you want to send a different email template. With conditional macros, you can now do this. What we're also looking into is bulk macros, the ability to apply macros to multiple different records all at the same time. And last but not the least, While Eddie is going to talk about our digital engagement strategy and all the different channels we continue to explore, email and phone are still the top 2 channels used by agents and the most productive. And so we continue to invest in email and phone. In Spring 19, we're bringing forward email draft approvals. Essentially now, managers can look at draft emails and approve them before they're sent out to the customer, so that there are no embarrassing typos or to making sure that the message is on brand. What we are also adding is a lightning setup flow for CTI partners. So if you don't have a CTI partner set up, it's really easy with the setup flow, because it's a wizard that helps you walk through the different steps and makes it super simple for you to set up a CTI partner. And upcoming for the channels, we're looking at adding a simple yet powerful feature to be able to attach from case, chatter, and related emails. Now I've talked to you about all of this amazing stuff. Let's get into the demo and see some of this in action. I'm going to start with the case management features. So for case management, I'm here on an open case. You can be on any particular case that you want to view hierarchy. How do I go about viewing case hierarchy? So essentially, once it's configured as part of the case page layout, View Case Hierarchy will appear in your dropdown. It's right here on the right-hand side. And when I click View Case Hierarchy, I go into this screen that shows you the hierarchy of all the different cases that are parent-child relationships. Notice one thing, that current here is essentially showing you where you came from. And so that's why it's marked as current and shows you the place in the tree that case is at. Also, the indentation shows you which is the parent and child. So here we have an iterative relationship. We have one main parent, we have several first level children, and then the children have children of their own. So case hierarchy essentially is this view of being able to see the entire hierarchy of any iterative case parent-child relationship. Let's take a quick look now at contact roles. So contact roles is a related list that you can add from the Lightning App Builder, and it's essentially just a component you can add. Now, say for example, Courtney is a new employee and she's joining the company. There's a lot of different things that you do while onboarding an employee. Mobile device setup, network password, physical space. So what contact roles allows you to do is the ability to add people who are different, are contacts for the different aspects of this onboarding. Let's see how we add a contact. So you simply go to the right-hand side and there's an option to create a new contact, which will open up this modal. You can search for a contact, and then you can pick a role. Now, this role, you wonder, where does all these pick list items come from? So essentially, it is a pick list that you can configure in the setup, and you can add all the different roles that you would like for your case contact roles. So now if I save this, all right, that's the case contact role that I just added. Now if I go back to my ticket, and you see now I have case contact roles and we've added one more. So those were the case management features. Let's move over to knowledge. Now in knowledge, as we talked about, the mass publish and assign features already exist. But in this release, what we've done is add the mass archive. So essentially, you select as many of these articles as you would like to archive. And then when you go onto the right-hand side here, see the ability to archive these articles now. Another cool feature I wanted to show you in knowledge is, say you go to a particular article. Now, this article, if you look at the versions tab, you will see that there are 5 different versions, and the 5th version was what I'm currently viewing. Let me click on the previous version, which is not the active version. What I wanted to show you here is on the right-hand side, you see the ability to restore. And that basically means that if I click restore here, this article will now become the current version, and the version number in this particular case will move to 6 because 5 was the latest version previously. And then this version of the article becomes the most current version. So those are the key features I wanted to demonstrate for knowledge. Let's pivot into lightning flows and let's look at that feature I talked about, which is the resume paused action list. Now, Katie is looking at the Bright Financial website, and she's looking to apply for a loan. So she goes to the website and she sees this option to apply for a loan. When she gets to the screen, she fills in some of her details, and then she goes next, and now she has to fill in information about her loan type. Except she realizes it's time to go pick up the kids. And alas, she just cannot finish this workflow right now. What she does see is the option to pause. So she goes ahead and clicks pause. And here you can even put in a reason if you like. Need to pick up the kids. And you say, okay. Now you paused it. Now, Katie's on the road. She's gone ahead to pick up the kids. And she said, hey, I have some time. I can't be typing right now, but I could use my hands-free and call and talk about my loan and see if I can get that process moving. So Katie calls in, and the point that I wanted to show you here is that in Katie's record, you now see this resume paused actions. That workflow that Katie paused on the community, well, it's available here. So what the agent can now do is that can click on it, and essentially, as you can see, it's right where Katie left off. She was on the section of loan type, and that's where she is. And the agent can see all the different steps, the exact same thing that Katie saw on the community, and now we can pick all the answers based on what Katie wants the information to be, and we've finished the flow for her. So Katie was able to just continue from where she left off and finish the flow while talking to an agent. For the agent, they also have the ability to see everything about what was happening in that flow. So for example, you can see that it was started, resumed, and completed. So that was the resume paused action list feature. One more feature that I really would like to show you is the customer contact request. Now let's go back to our community. Say, Katie had not chanced upon that workflow and she was just looking for support. And she found this page. Now in support, this is only for demo purposes. The request help button and this form here are actually one and the same thing. What I wanted to show you here is that you can either have this representation or you can actually have this representation. Let me show you what I mean. Let's do a request help. See, it pops up pretty much the exact same dialogue that's here in the background. It really is how you would like to showcase the support. Now, let me make sure that our agent is ready. It is a demo, so I want to make sure things are working when I show that to you. Okay, let's go back, and we're going to add some information here. All right. Okay. So we're done, and it says we'll be in touch. And on the agent side, you see there's a new contact request. And the agent accepted the contact request. And now it's opened the contact request tab. And we have a phone number here for Katie that the agent can call her on. Well, what I have here in my demo, I have a CTI adapter. Sorry about that, but it is one of those things. There you go, we're all set. So I have a CTI adapter here. And so as the agent, all I can do is simply just, make a call. And I'm connected to Katie and I can actually have a conversation with her. So in this way, Katie did not have to hold the phone and wait for an agent. And once the request was given to the agent, he was able to call Katie or on the CTI adapter. One last thing that I would like to show you is what I talked about, the Lightning setup flow for CTI partners. If you go into Service Setup Home, and the way you get there is basically from this gearbox here, you have the option to go to Service Setup. So when you click on Service Setup, you'll come to this screen. And as you can see here under Recommended Setup, there are various different things you can set up. The one I wanted you to see was the Voice Support Setup. So as you can see, you can make, there's a wizard of sorts that's going to let you set up how you set up CTI. And so this is essentially basically your way of setting up the voice support with your CTI partners. That is kind of all I had for the demo and all the features I wanted to show today, Elna. And I'd love to hear questions that folks have.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. What an amazing release for core service. I can't wait to talk more about it in the community and in our other webinars. I especially love the case hierarchy, and that I bet works really well with the new feature to be able to pop out a sub-tab as a new workspace tab, which we covered in the platform session. So those two would go together really nice if you're working on a whole family of cases and you want a workspace for each one. So great stuff. Sam, what kind of questions we have and reactions?
Well, thank you, Elna. So Amber is asking, how is this customer contact request different from cases? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
From cases? The case is essentially something that an agent will open for an issue that you call in for. The difference with the customer contact request is that essentially it is a way for a user to ask to be called back on the phone. Creating a case can come from various different channels, and it can come for various different reasons. It isn't essentially about requesting a call back. And so from a difference perspective, it is the way the user is asking for in terms of communication, how they would like to be reached out to, versus creating a case from an email or creating a case from any other channel. Right now, the customer contact request is available for phone callbacks only.
And Amber is asking some questions about pausing flows. So if the user leaves the screen without clicking the pause button, is the info they've entered so far saved?
At this point, it won't be. You have to pause the button for that to trigger the paused workflow on the agent side. So you would have to pause the workflow for that to work.
Good advice. So you'll want to make sure that your end users know that. And Randy is asking, for searching the search author articles in any object, is that for standard or standard and custom objects?
So it's for all objects. The key nuance here is that, for example, right now, the knowledge component in case allows you to, attach an article to a case, attach an article to an email. But with this feature, what is available is that the knowledge component will be available for any object, but it's limited in the fact that you can do searches and you can author articles, so the functionality is not specific to the object. It's only specific to what knowledge provides, which is search and authoring.
And can you cover again the tools that are available to move from classic knowledge to Lightning? knowledge?
Sure. So the Lightning Knowledge Migration tool is a tool that's available in pilot and beta right now. There is a lot of documentation that we can definitely share links later on that you should read up on the tool and how it works. Now, as you know, migrating knowledge is no trivial task. So the tool is going to be enabled in Sandbox first for all organizations. The goal is that you should read the documentation, build your migration strategy, test it in Sandbox, and then when you're ready to do that change in production, you should open a ticket with Sales Cloud support, Service Cloud support, and do allow about a minimum 1 week for the response and completion of, basically allowing our support to enable this tool in production for you. The reason I say 1 week is that basically we want to make sure that this transition is successful for you. And so that involves a few checks and balances. There might be recommendations that we would come back with in terms of doing some things differently that would make more sense for you. So if you have a deployment in 72 hours, please don't wait that late to open that ticket. Please give us a minimum of 1 week to enable the Lightning Knowledge Migration to your production environment.
Thank you so much. And yeah, actually, if you need more information about Lightning Knowledge and migrating from Classic, definitely post something in the Release Readiness group, because we have tons of resources. We have trails, we have recordings, we have lots and advice from people who have done it. So definitely post out there if you're interested in learning more, because it's a big change, but it's a change for the better. So it'll be worth the effort. All right, so Ruby, you're on.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about bots. So bots is actually a relatively new product that we launched in June, and it became generally available in June of last year. So I wanted to kind of reorient everyone on the reason why we created bots and where we see them fitting in for service. So today, when you look at a service agent's workload, they generally answer a number of repetitive, frequently asked questions. And these frequently asked questions are generally maybe FAQs that can be handled in one answer, one question, one response formats. There are also within a agent's workload about 1 to 2 minutes that they spend handling a customer request and where they are qualifying the customer request. So asking questions like, who are you? What is your case reason? Or what is your support reason? What's the best phone number to contact you at in case we get disconnected? Or what's the best email? So the qualification process and asking repetitive questions is where we saw bots being a great fit for service. And so we created a new product that leverages builder features, so admin configuration, as well as AI, so things like natural language processing, natural language understanding. And what we are hoping that bots will achieve is that we'll actually see a shift in agents' workload in where they're no longer having to answer repetitive questions, they're no longer having to qualify and ask repetitive questions, rather they can shift their focus to more complex question and answer formats from the customers. And so that's really where we saw bots being a great fit. Now, the biggest thing that we released in February is that bots will become available on SMS. So that is messaging now. It was originally called Live Message, but you can actually build a bot configuration and then add it to a SMS channel and have a bot pick up an SMS conversation before it's actually handed off to an agent. As you probably already know, bots have already been available on web chat. So that is anything that is on a web page via community, or if you want to and you don't have Salesforce communities, that's okay, because you can place a bot snap-in on any worldwide web page. Bots are also available through the mobile SDK. So if you have a snap-in that you want to place with a bot configuration on it within your mobile app, you can do so with one single configuration file that you upload into your mobile app. Another big feature for this upcoming release, is AI model management. And so this is really a feature that we've created for you to democratize the AI model. A lot of times when you actually configure the bot's artificial intelligence, it's actually very difficult for you to understand how accurate that model will be until you actually deploy it and your customers are interacting with it. So we actually wanted to go upstream of that, and we wanted to provide you with a feature in where you could actually determine what the bot's accuracy is to actually resolve a customer request before you deploy. We also have a new feature called the bot training game. Now, the bot training game is actually really cool, and I'll definitely be demoing it. But essentially what it is once you actually deploy your bot, your customer will be asking the bot questions and utterances that you did not precede your bot with. And so what the bot training game allows you to do is deploy your bot quickly, and once your customer actually starts engaging with your bot, any net new utterance your customer says will be recorded by the bot, and the next time you log in, the bot will prompt you saying, hey, I have these 4 net new customer inputs, how would you like to classify them? And so this is a very easy way for you to deploy quickly and build your bot's memory over time. Next, we have the Declarative Flow Builder integration. So you guys will notice in February that Flow is reimagined and remastered. There is a new UI, there's a new interface, and so you can actually create flows very quickly and simply. And what we've actually done within bots is you can actually integrate a flow within your bot configuration directly. So we've actually created a no-code declarative solution for you to create, update, retrieve, and delete any record within your Salesforce environment. Okay, so let's pop into the demo. All right, so what I'm showing you here is the bots overview page. And just a quick call out that you actually do not need to be on Lightning in order to access bots. Bots does leverage a Lightning page and look and feel. However, you can be on Classic and still be able to configure bots. And so the easiest way to get to your bot overview page is by going to the setup menu, and in your quick find box, just typing in bots. And once you click on that, you'll actually come to this page right here. Now, there are a few setting options here, which from your cookbook, you'll be able to understand like what these settings are and how to enable them. But I actually want to pop into an actual bot version and show you what is new and upcoming. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the overview page. Now, this overview page is actually new and modified in where we actually have a new section right here called channels. And what channels will allow you to do is add your bot configuration to any web chat or a SMS text channel with a few simple clicks. So if you go to the right-hand side of the screen where there's add, you'll actually see a pop-up that asks you what type of channel you want to add your bot configuration to. Here you can select things like web chat, and for web chat you need a chat button, so I can select a chat button, and all I have to do is hit save, and now my bot configuration is actually available on this web chat button, Blaze Updated. I can also go ahead and add an SMS channel while we're at it. So let's say if I want to go in and add a text channel, the channels that will become available to me is what you have provisioned within your platform. So here I have a phone number provisioned in my platform, and I can go ahead and hit save, and now my bot is actually available. The same bot configuration is available not only on web, but on SMS. Okay, so now let's go into the dialog screen. What I wanted to show you over here is a flow integration. So log a case should be a common functionality that you code into your bot in case your customer who is chatting into the bot wants to just file a case for an agent to call them back or contact them back later. So here in the log a case dialog, if we scroll down to the very bottom, there is a new action and action type called flow. So you see there's Apex, there's flow, and there's also send email. So with flow, what you can do is you can actually create, and I'll just show you, you can select an action. So these are all the flows that are available to you within your platform. So in this case, I want to create a case. And with flow within bots, you actually have to create an auto-launched headless flow. And what this means is that you actually create input variables within your flow that you feed to your bot variables. And so these bot variables are actually answers that your customer says to the bot that will store the text entry or a number entry that you can write back into a flow. And so here, what I'll select are my bot variables. So my bot within this conversation asks about the name, asks about the case issue, and so I want to store these directly back into my flow to then write onto my case object, which will be the output. And you can actually output within your bot, you can actually output the entire object. And what this is helpful in doing is that you can actually, with your bot, you can have merge fields. So you can say, fantastic, thanks so much for the information. We've actually filed this exact case ID for you so that you can output that out to your customer and they can store it somewhere in case they ever call back an agent and want to provide the actual case ID number to the agent directly. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to showcase to you is variables. So in February, what you'll see in your production environment is you will see 4 context variables and 1 system variable. Now, these context variables are extremely important when you are trying to have a persistent conversation from web chat to SMS. A lot of times with web chat, it is a synchronous channel and customers end up sometimes losing connection. And so if they were to lose connection on web chat, you want your SMS support phone number to be a phone number that has a bot on it that can actually say, oh, I saw that you were on web chat. It looks like our connection dropped. Do you still want to talk about case ID? And supply the case ID there, right? And so these context variables will actually provide to you who the contact is, or if you are on a messaging end user, who the end user is, so that you can go into the related objects and pull things like most recent case, most recent live message transcript object, most recent live chat transcript object. We also have something called routable ID. What this is that now you do not have to create complex Apex code just to see what the live chat transcript to your chat session was, or the live message transcript to your chat message was. We provide that to you out of the box. So now that it is a context variable, you can actually take that context variable, find the right live chat transcript right away, and perform any Apex or any flow action that you want on that transcript object. We also have last customer input. What this is really important in doing is you can actually take the very last customer input that your customer may have fed to your bot, and you can perform things like sentiment analysis, which will be upcoming in summer, or if you wanted to, you can perform intent match, which is available to you now. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was model management. Now in model management, this is kind of what I was talking about in terms of democratizing your AI. What we want you to be able to do is inside of your bot configuration, you will have a number of dialogues. So for instance, I had a dialogue called forgot username or security question. And I had preceded this dialogue with all of these utterances. These are ones that I coded into the bot based off of my understanding of how customers ask to resolve this type of question. So these are all the utterances that I had. And what I wanted to do is actually see from the model management screen is how all of these intents that I have preceded my bot with, and all of these utterances that I've preceded my bot with, how well they perform against my model. And so what we do with the overall model summary is we take 70% of the data that you have seeded your bot with, and we create a formula, a unique formula for your bot. And that formula basically helps the bot understand how to categorize issues and how to route a conversation. The remaining 30% of your data we actually use to test your own formula against your preceded utterances. And so that's how we derive this accuracy score. And this accuracy score, as you can see here, my model is 88% accurate. However, I still have all of these alerts. And so what we've done here is, while we provide to you what the overall bot accuracy may be, we also want to guide you down the path of how to improve your bot's overall accuracy. And so we provide to you helpful alerts. Like in this case, there is a low input alert of the fact that I have less than 150 utterances. Now, we recommend that you have at least 150 utterances per intent. But if I had a low accuracy, I would actually have an alert here saying, oh, you have a low accuracy on this intent. This is how you can improve it. So we want to provide you guidance on how to improve your model accuracy, but we also want to provide you what your actual accuracy is so that you're well informed before you deploy a bot. Okay, so now that I have a couple of utterances or a couple of intents here with about 20 to 30 utterances per dialogue, what I can do, and now that I actually know what my bot's overall accuracy is, I can actually go ahead and deploy my bot onto a community page or onto a web page that may have a FAQ article that I want my bot to show up on. Once I do that deployment, my customers are going to start initiating chat with my bot. They're going to start sending the bot customer inputs that I did not precede into my bot already. I want to show you where those customer inputs go. So in bot training, you will see all of your net new utterances that your customers are sending to your bot at the end of every day. And so what you can do is you can actually see exactly what the customer input was, and you'll see underneath the suggestion column is how the bot tried to route the conversation. And if you wanted to, you can actually modify how the bot is performing, so the way that it's routing the conversation, by clicking Train Bot on your right side of the screen. So if I click Train Bot, what you'll see is a training game. And this is a way that we've kind of gamified the overall learning and development of your bot. So you'll see things like what that customer actually said. I never received my verification code, what should I do? And you'll see how the bot actually guided the conversation. So the bot actually routed the conversation to the no verification code dialog. In this case, I think the bot routed the conversation correctly. So what I will do is hit classify. Now, when I hit classified, you'll see it says customer input was classified, which means that that utterance from the bot actually got added to your bot's overall library. So now you don't have to go into your bot and actually add all those utterances manually. The bot will automatically categorize those for you. And very quickly, you'll see that your 20 utterances grow to 150 or even more utterances. Another thing I wanted to show you is reclassification. So in this case, the customer said, can you help me log a case? And the bot thought that it should route the conversation to my forgot username or security question dialog. In this case, the bot actually routed the conversation incorrectly. And so what I want to do to prevent errors like this happening in the future, I actually want to reclassify this. And I want to classify it under log a case. So within this pop-up, you'll see that you can actually reclassify the intent underneath another dialog that is available to you. So in this case, I'll click log a case and I will hit classify. And now that correct dialog or that correct input was reclassified underneath a dialog that is the correct dialog to route the conversation. And your bot will always remember that moving forward. The last thing I want to show you is that your customers, when they interact with the bot, will sometimes send PII or information about themselves, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone number, whether it's a name, they will send that to the bot. And so when you actually categorize that customer input into your bot's memory, you want to remove that PII. So we've provided a way for you to do that. So let's pop back into this demo and see that here the customer said, hi, I'm Ruby Kanda, a current customer, and I forgot my login. So what I'll do here is I will actually remove PII. Oops, sorry. I'm a current customer, so I'll remove my name. And I will actually also reclassify this because my bot routed this under check instance health, which is not how I wanted it to route. So I want this to go directly to the forgot login dialog. So I'll reclassify that. And now I'm done classifying all of my new customer inputs. And you'll see this nice confetti screen saying that your training set is complete. All right, so now let's go back into the slides. So to recap, what we've seen is the Declarative Flow Builder integration. We've seen the AI model management. We've seen the bot training. And all of these things are there for you to use and help develop and deploy your bot. I also wanted to kind of give you some highlights on the upcoming features that are available. So in summer and beyond, we will be providing to you a number of brand new features. Things like becoming available on Apple Business Chat, so that will become generally available to you in summer. We will also have a pilot for WeChat, and we will also have a pilot for WhatsApp. From the builder side, we will have some really cool features coming up in summer, things like Einstein queue routing. And what this means is today, when you actually add a bot configuration to a chat button, that chat button or that phone number, if you're on SMS, will go to a queue. With summer, you will actually have Einstein queue routing, in where within the conversation, and depending on what the customer says, you can dynamically reassign that conversation to a different queue that maybe your agent is trained on, whether it may be a legal question or something similar. You can actually dynamically route the conversation. We will also have an out-of-the-box agent availability check. So before you actually route a conversation to an agent, we will check to see if there is an available agent on the other line, and only transfer if there is an actual agent available. So you will no longer have to do complex Apex code for that. We'll provide that out of the box for you. We will also have a bot-to-bot transfer option available. So in this case, if you have a support bot in where there is a different tone, there's different decision trees within that support bot, you will be able to escalate if the customer actually asks your support bot that, hey, I'm actually a new customer who would love to be part of your company. You can actually route that conversation directly to a sales bot who can take over and again, help deflect any questions that may be frequently asked or qualify who the lead is. We will also have a map view available, and that's what you see on the screen here, in where what you saw in my demo is that you saw all of the dialogues arranged in a kind of vertical fashion. In summer, we will be releasing a graphical view of all of your dialogues and how they're connected to one another through a map view. We will also have skills-based routing available. And on the intelligence piece, we will have sentiment analysis available for all of your net new utterances that your customers actually enter into the bot so that you can conduct conversation repair. And we will also be providing to you direct matching so that you don't have to actually turn on NLP until you're absolutely ready. And we also advise you guys to check out the Einstein Bot Trailheads. There's a ton of really cool features there. So please go ahead and check out the Trailhead where you'll be guided down how to actually configure a bot, how to configure your natural language processing and your AI. And then there's also the Trailblazer community where you can always post questions that you have. And from there, I will actually just quickly overview what is available for Einstein case classification. So for Einstein case classification, we are now GA. And so here, what you will be able to do is actually categorize your cases before they even arrive to an agent. And we do that based off of assessing how your cases have been classified in the past. And now anytime a new case comes in, it will automatically classify a couple of fields that you specify so that an agent does not have to do that work. We will also be in pilot for Einstein article recommendations. So while your agent is actually working and typing in an email or typing into the description field, your agent will actually be provided recommendations for articles that they can view or attach to the overall case. And so, yeah, so that's what's upcoming for bots as well as for Einstein case classification.
That is all super exciting, and I'm sure there's tons of questions out there, but we need to make sure we have time for digital engagement and field service. So I'm just going to hand it straight to Eddie right now, and then Sam, if you could just maybe save one or two questions that we can try to circle back at the end.
All right, so let's talk about digital engagement really quickly. So web and in-app chat, formerly known as Live Agent, call on chat now, as well as the snap-ins you can deploy to your website and via the mobile SDK to your iOS and Android apps. So we now have the ability with Spring for the agent to initiate a flag raise to the supervisor to see an Omni supervisor. We have the critical alert wait time implemented. So that's set up on your live agent deployment. It'll now be consumed and that tab will flash red once that time is expired. We'll also see that the agent is typing in snap-ins. I get this request a lot. It's actually not in the release notes, but we were able to get this done, and I'll show you how this works. Also within the snap-ins, if the agent transfers that customer, that queue position for that transfer process will display to the customer so they know when to expect an agent to talk with them. And then lastly, we've closed some of the gaps with our Live Agent APIs from Classic to Lightning to allow you to bring your customizations and allow a lot of our partners to bring their AppExchange packages into Lightning as well. Upcoming, we're going to add the ability for conferencing in Lightning. And then also a really cool thing with scrolling transcripts, you'll be able to scroll up and see all the previous interactions with that customer. With Live Message, now known as messaging, as Ruby showed you, we're very excited to have Einstein Bots now live on SMS. Also, we'll talk about this in Omni of skills-based routing, but these SMS conversations can be routed using that skills-based routing mechanism. And then lastly, we've included messaging in our new digital engagement license. Coming up, as Ruby alluded to, we have some great new channels coming to our messaging platform, including WhatsApp and WeChat, and allowing your bots to be deployed on those will make those bots truly multi-channel. In social customer service, we've added the ability for contacts with social personas related to them when they are merged to another contact for those social personas and their corresponding social posts to be carried over through that merge process. We've also, for our customers using social customer service and then also messaging for Facebook Messenger, the ability to disable Facebook Messenger and social customer service so that you're only serving that in one area. And then lastly, a mandate from Facebook. You may have seen there's some big changes coming from them, big focus on our page scoped ID migration with Facebook. Coming up in the future, mass approvals for admins that want to be able to review and approve all posts that their agents are sending out. Also, Facebook has changed the reviews format from a 5-star system to a recommending system. We've adopted that, and we're updating to Instagram's new API version 2. With Omni-Channel, being able to route all those work across all the channels and different objects, we've added the ability for skills-based routing for both SMS and chats. We've made some big Omni-Channel supervisor improvements, which I'm going to demonstrate for you. And as Nopar showed you, the contact requests can be routed via Omni, which is really cool. And then we've got a new beta program with attribute-based routing that allows you to take data at the field level to be used in decision for routing. Oops. And with that, I will jump into a very quick demonstration. And I'm going to start out on the community site. Northern Trail Outfitters, and I'm the customer. I'm initiating a chat with an agent. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in my name. And I'm going to start chatting. This is going to route via Omni-Channel, and this is what the agent console looks like. So the agent's already on a current case in Omni-Channel. They see that they've got a new chat request coming in. They can go ahead and accept this. It's going to open up that tab. Because we're able to match on the email address, we can see all the contact details, and we can start having this conversation. And you'll notice that the agent's typing here. Well, if we pop back over to that customer experience, now we get that indicator that the agent's about to send something. So now we'll send that message, and we can say, I need help with order 111. Now, another really cool thing here is that we can see a sneak peek. This is an optional feature, but the agent can see that the customer is typing and can even get a preview of that text. So now this will get sent. But let's imagine that this agent is actually on a different case and has stopped paying attention to that chat. Well, I set my critical alert time to 5 seconds, so this would fire very quickly. But now we can see this is flashing red. It's on fire. I need to respond and say, let me check. But I don't know how to check an order. So I'm actually going to raise a flag and ask my supervisor for help. Now let's take a look at what that looks like in the Omni Supervisor view. So here I am in Omni Supervisor. I am seeing that my agent Bond here is online, and he's got a flag raised. So I can expand that and see, okay, this flag is related to this work item. So I can click into the monitor pane here, and I can get a full perspective of that chat and what's going on with that customer. And I can monitor this ongoing without that agent being aware, but I can see that they have some issues here. They need to help. You know, here's your help. Keep it simple, and we can lower the flag to let the supervisor keep this nice and clean and know which agents they need to help with. If we fly back over to the agent experience, we can see that this is transcripted just for the agent. This is not present for the customer, but behind the scenes, the agent's getting the help that they need and can respond, here's your help, back to the customer. And so it's just that easy now with the flag raise and the ability for agents and supervisors to interact within the chat session here to ultimately serve the customer. All right, one last thing I want to show you really quickly is in Live Message, some of the great new setup experience here. So for your messaging channel, we can open this up. And you'll see we have the different routing options. We mentioned skills-based for Omni. Once you have that set up, this is really easy to add to your channels and select if you want skills-based versus queue-based. You also notice here we have the automated responses and acknowledgements and opt-in, opt-out options are available that are required by CAN spam for SMS. And with that, that concludes the demo for digital engagement.
Wow, that was really fast and furious. Thank you, and great job showing how that all works together. Really nice. Okay, so let us now take a couple of questions. If we want to do one for Ruby as well as Eddie, that would be fine.
Okay, alrighty. So I have 2 questions for Ruby that I think are really important to ask. One is people are very interested in bots, and they're wondering what the requirements are, what the license requirements are, what they need to do to pursue that.
Sure. Okay, so with bots, the only thing that you really need is at least one live agent license. And what that will enable you to do is be able to see bots within your setup menu. And then once you go from there, you can actually go in and configure up to 10 bots. Well, you can configure an unlimited number of bots, but you can only have 10 bots active in your organization at any given time. So you can actually go ahead and play with all the features that I showed you today. And then if you wanted SMS, you would actually need to provision an SMS phone number from your support, and you can also get SMS licenses through your account executive.
Great, great. So that should answer a number of questions that I saw. And also, I think that this is important for the community. Are bots GDPR compliant?
Yes, bots are GDPR compliant. So the training game that I showed you, for instance, we actually can't, because we are GDPR compliant, those customer inputs available in your training game will only be available for 7 to 14 days. And after that, they will disappear because we cannot retain that information. So make sure that you are continually learning and developing your bot.
Thank you. So, Elna, those were the 2 questions for Ruby. I think I have time for 2 questions for Eddie, yes? Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. So, Eddie, you mentioned digital engagement license. What is that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're really excited to package all of our digital engagement products across chat, messaging, and snap-ins, and Omni-Channel together in a single license that you can leverage across all of your agents so they can truly deliver that Omni-Channel customer experience. So if it's something that you'd like to get more information on, highly recommend you reach out to your account executive and they'll be able to help you out with that.
And for the sneak peek and supervisor monitoring, does this still need to be enabled on the live agent configuration?
Yes, exactly. So it will consume the existing setup experience just as you've done in Classic. This is really kind of a parity gap closure. So if you use that same mechanism within setup, that's exactly how it'll work in Lightning today as well.
And Elna, I have one great question that I just want to sneak in for Ruby that I meant to bring up. So Lynette is asking, does the Einstein Bot PM have bot-specific permissions on her release? They're very interested in rolling out bots, but the requirement for an all-data permission on their users is a blocker for her. So she was wondering if that's anywhere on the release.
So it is, but it will probably be sometime next year. So what you can do is actually provide your content writers. If you wanted to, you can actually code your own Visual Force page, which will showcase the bot screen for the training game to your content writers, for instance. But something native out of the box will actually become available probably sometime next year. But while you do have the bot training game, you can actually monitor what your content writer is doing and classifying while side sharing next to the content writer. So that's one way that you can get around it. But for right now, you would need modify all data access.
Great. All right, Elna, back to you.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and move into the folks who've got field service, because I know we've got some great stuff to share on that too. Gary.
Yeah, thank you. Very impressed by the features from the rest of Service Cloud, and I very much advise our customers to use that as well for their field service use case. And on top of that, we have other field service features coming in. So for Spring, we have the first feature we are doing is crew teaming UI. This allows you to actually build the team that you will dispatch on site. So we are already able to actually schedule and optimize your service crews, but actually we got feedback that building those crews and finding who is the right technician to be part of that crew was not easy. So we now are providing a UI for this. The second improvement we have been doing is also based on a feedback we got from customers is actually on maintenance plan or feature to actually generate work orders automatically. We are now improving so that you can also generate work order line automatically. What does it mean? It means that before you had one maintenance plan covering maybe 5-6 assets. For each of the assets, you would get a work order. While this is very helpful, but actually some customers told us, I would like to have one single work order with work order line for each of the assets. So we are now providing this feature with Spring. On mobile side, to help our technicians on site, we are providing full chatter capabilities. So you can now mention chatter group, chatter persons directly on site. And we are also improving our offline engine, and now formulas are also supported offline in our mobile app. Last but not least, we did a collaboration with the IoT team to have actually IoT Insight that was shown to call center agent already. We want to show that as well to technicians while they are on site. So I will show that today in the demo. Upcoming, we are very much looking at the ID exchange, and the first ID that is the most voted ID for actually field service has been selected and prioritized for summer. So now we will be able to actually, in your service report, when you have a related list, a list of items like work order lines, for example, you will be able to define the sorting order so that, for example, you could sort by completion status or maybe by creation date or other sorting that you would like to apply. We are also improving our mobile deep linking feature, which basically will allow you to pass on parameters from and to our field service mobile app. And last but not least, we are continuously improving our digital form offering. So right now it's still a pilot, but basically what we are doing there is that we will be able to offer you capabilities to gather the data, collect the data on site. So for digitalizing your forms that you have today on paper maybe. And we'll offer a capability to actually generate a PDF out of that form, or out of the data that is collected on site by our technicians. All right, so let's jump in the demo. And here I'm a call center agent, and I will be able to actually, or a dispatcher, and I will be able actually to log in Omni-Channel. As I was saying, it's not because you're a field service that you cannot use the Service Cloud feature. So here, I'm very much using Omni-Channel to actually see a case that is coming from IoT and that is routed to me. So I will accept this case as a dispatcher. And here, I will directly be able to see actually the IoT information. So that's what we call IoT Insight. And we have a small pilot going on here where we can even see actually the past data. So the past value for actually the this asset. So you see that actually it's behaving very weirdly, and definitely the battery has most probably issues. So I will have to send someone on site. I can actually use a flow to check if by calling the customer that did resolve the issue, and definitely not. So I will actually click next, and this will create a work order for me automatically and guide me to the work order. Now, that's very helpful for me because all this information got populated by the flow, by the IoT data, so we already know the work type and so on. And we see that we need a crew of 3 technicians. So 3 technicians will have to go on site whenever we will send them, and that's where I'm using the book appointment feature, where we'll be able actually to say when are we going to send those 3 technicians on site. So I'm getting appointment. And we did a small improvement here in terms of UI. Before, you would just see a huge list of time slots. Now you are able to actually select a day, for example, and say, OK, I want to see time slot only for the 31st of January. And I will be able to select, for example, at 9 a.m., I will send those 3 technicians on site. Now, if I go on the field service dispatch console, you know that console already a lot. We have been doing a lot of improvement also there. A small improvement that I want to show, because again, it was a feedback from customers, and I think it will be used every day. You can now filter your service appointment and highlight them directly on the dispatch console. So here, for example, I could filter my service appointment that are related to the Ohana Inc. account. And if I click highlight, I will see all the jobs that we are doing for this account. Now, I was talking about the crew teaming UI, and here we are on the dispatch console. The crew teaming UI is a different UI that I will be able to use here. I already opened it as a tab. I will refresh to have the latest data and go on a 3D view by clicking here on the right end of my screen and go on a 3D view. And here I see actually 2 red flags. My team is already having 2 service crew members. But for this team, I need more members, especially for those jobs. So if I go on it, you will see that now I need 3 people. I have only 2 persons. So actually, I will have to find out who is the first person. Before, you would have to do that manually. You would have to find out maybe if you have the availability from one technician with the right skills and so on. Now you can actually right-click, do Get Candidates. And here it will directly find who has the right skills to be part of this team. And in this case, I will select myself and assign myself to that team. Automatically, it's creating the service crew membership, and it will assign this job to me whenever the job will be dispatched. The crew membership can be directly also adjusted here, so I will be able to actually say that I will be a bit longer on that crew, so that we make sure that everything will be fine in terms of I'm not abandoning my team member on site. So here I'm adjusting this service crew membership directly here. Now let's move on mobile side. I'm using here an Android device, and I will show you actually the field service mobile app. So I'm opening my app, and I will open my first appointment of the day, the appointment that just got assigned to that crew. And here, the first thing I want to show you is that we have the usual get direction. You can know who is the contact person on site. And now we have this new IoT Insight card there that you can use to actually see your IoT information directly on site. So as a technician, I can directly see the IoT information coming from the device I need to fix. Now, in terms of full feed capabilities, if I go on the feed, I create a new post. I will be, for example, to say that I'm having difficulties with something on site that I've never seen. So I will ask my generator expert, have you ever seen this? And post a picture from my gallery on actually a picture I just took. And now I will be able to get reply from actually all my fellow technicians to see actually if they have ever seen this, and they might have a solution for me. And all that, I'm still on site, and I can talk to all the experts that I have in my company. Now let's go back on slide. In terms of maintenance plan, I didn't demo it, but I want to explain the different scenarios that we have. So here we are now generating work order and work order line. What does it mean? It means that on scenario 1, you can see that we are generating for each asset covered by the maintenance plan a work order and a service appointment. An example of this would be you have many assets that are covered, let's say 5, 6 assets covered by a maintenance plan, and each asset really needs its own service report. It has its really long work orders that need to be completed and so on. So you definitely want one work order per asset. Now for scenario 2 and 3, it's more the scenario of a site visit. You have like maybe 10, 15, 20 assets covered by the maintenance plan, and you want to dispatch that in as a whole to a technician. So what would happen here? I would be able to select, I want to generate work order line item. And instead of creating one work order for each asset covered by the maintenance plan, it could create one single work order with the service appointment at that level. And then for each asset, a work order line item. So that when you dispatch this to your technician, he will directly be able to see that in the mobile app. See, okay, I need to fix, for example, 20 fire detector. It will take me like 5 minutes per detector. And I just need to check if they are still working. I'm doing that, over and over in the same work order. The third scenario, again, covering that site visit scenario or use case, but here we are saying that actually the assets might be very different. Maybe it's actually you're covering 20 assets with this maintenance plan, but 5 of them are fire detector and the rest is security device, so requiring different skills. So what we are allowing to do is to select, do you want to create the service appointment on work order level or on work order line level? And if you do on work order line level, you will be able to assign multiple technicians on site to actually complete that maintenance in one shot. One other improvement that we did is that we are hearing that actually we constantly need to improve our help content. That's very valuable for you when you are implementing. And also we have a couple of features that were not even known yet because we didn't document it in depth how to use them. So our product is very, very wide, and we are improving our documentation here so that you can learn about as much as you can about our solutions. And that was really based on your feedback also. So never hesitate. Tell us, is this help content helping you? Where are we still too high level for you? And tell us what we should improve. So we are very much welcoming feedback for this. And that's concluding. I think we can go to the Q&A.
Great, thank you, Gary. So, Service Cloud has so much functionality, and not everybody needs all of the functionality, and that's why there's a lot of things that are kind of additional that you can get if you want or not.
Correct.
So if you could just clarify, what is the situation for Field Service Lightning for those who have field service and want to get it? What is it a separate license on top of Service Cloud, and how do they get the actual app?
Yeah, so actually you have different type of license. So what you will see is that you have, for your technicians, we have field service technician license. So generally speaking, we don't recommend that your actually technicians have access to Service Cloud as a whole. They just need access to the mobile app. So that's why we have this separate license. If you have call center agents that need to have access to everything, you can use 2 licenses, either FSL Plus, that will give you access to a lot, or you can also say, okay, I'm buying a field service dispatcher license on top of actually the Service Cloud license. I will really recommend that you speak with your AE about pricing and so on. I don't think it's here that we should speak about that. The thing that you should know as well is that for the contractors, if you have like a lot of contractors you are working with, we have also separate license for contractors, so that we have so you give access to your contractors to the mobile app, to the dispatch console as well, or go a little bit less. Giving less access to everything and say, okay, you have access to basically debriefing on the community and so on, but we don't give you access to the mobile app. So we do have also those kind of license for people that have had tons of contractors that they work with.
That makes a lot of sense, because you need that flexibility, because people have different roles, they need access to different things. You don't want to give them the whole enchilada when they just need this very specific area. So
exactly.
Thanks for clarifying that. So Sam, what questions do we have for Field Service Lightning?
Well, I love this question. Could we use Einstein Bots to book appointments in field service?
So today you could, with a little bit of workaround and Apex code and a little bit of, I would say, critical thinking about how to make this happen. But we are making it easier. So with Ruby, we are working together to actually, in summer, help you to make this in a declarative fashion, so that you will be able to actually book appointments and, for example, use even SMS and say, let's book appointment via SMS, talking to about and actually offering my time slot and booking the appointment.
Great. And we have some interest in the pilot for digital forms. Can you refresh digital forms and then tell our users how that they can be involved in the pilot?
Yep. So digital form, in the end, what we saw is that when technicians are going on site, they do provide a service report at the end of their intervention. So basically, that's the main report that you would give. But they have a lot of other papers and other data that they are collecting, and we wanted to digitalize everything. So that's why we call it digital form. Basically, all your paper form, Excel files, and so on, we would like to get rid of that and actually offer a seamless experience for the technician so that he use one single mobile app to collect all the data he needs on site, like safety assessment, inspection checklist, and so on. With digital forms, what we are providing is actually already flow. So we already provide the flow capabilities on our mobile app, but we want to support that with a data model and with also PDF generation capabilities. So the PDF generation capability will come most probably in summer, and then the data model support will come in winter. We'll most probably use the survey data model. If you want to be part of the pilot, talk to your AE, ask them to contact me actually, and I will see if you can join. We have already a lot of requests, so I cannot accept everyone, but I will definitely evaluate every of the requests.
Alrighty, and then also we have interest in the maintenance plan feature. How do they start using that?
So the new maintenance plan feature is extremely easy to use actually. The way we did it is that we have 2 additional fields that you can display on your page layout. Make sure that you have also field access when you are putting those on the page layout. And essentially it's work order generation method and service appointment generation method. And there you will be able to select, do I want to generate work order or work order line? Do I want my service appointment to be on the work order or on the work order line? So extremely easy actually to put in place.
And also, we have others that are interested in this new crew teaming UI. Yep. So how do they start using that as well?
So for that, the best place to actually learn about that is the help content that we just released. But very short, basically, you can definitely create a custom permission, a Visual Force page, Visual Force tab. Sorry, select the crew teaming UI there. And that's it. It's for this demo, for example, it took me I think 5 minutes to make it happen. So it's very easy to start using it.
Alrighty, and Elna, those were the field service questions that I had. Should I keep on going?
Yeah, let's take a few more questions on pretty much anybody on the panel. And I know there was a few on some of the earlier presentations that still were waiting. So let's take those.
That's great. So. Stephen asked, is the callback feature in Spring 19 able to transfer a chat to a phone call?
So for Spring 19, it's only for a phone call. So there is no capability to transfer chat to a phone call at this point. But we're definitely looking at all the different channels and how they fit into the callback feature.
Yeah, and the use case there would be, if you go into the chat, there are no agents available, you could request a callback.
Right.
And that's definitely something that we want to deliver within Snap-ins.
And also, do case contact roles replace case team members that are available in Lightning? So they're trying to understand the difference between the two.
Right. So case contact roles does not replace case team members. Case contact roles is a classic feature that was, voted really high on the ID Exchange in terms of parity, and we're bringing that over. They're independent features that, based on what your use case is and how you're using case teams versus case contact roles, it just depends on what your use case is to be able to use one or the other.
This is a great question also. Contact readiness request is connected to Omni-Channel. Can you control the availability of the contact request function on your community based upon agent availability?
I can take that one.
Sure.
Yeah, so there is an ability with Omni-Channel to make an agent availability check via the API. So it'd be a bit of customization to kind of make a dynamic call to determine whether or not to display that option.
Thanks, Eddie.
And I have a great knowledge question here from Wendy. Since Salesforce automatically incrementally increases version numbers on articles, is there a way to import knowledge articles with a different version number without having to import the original versions first?
That's a great question, which I'm not sure exactly how that would work. So I'll have to get back to you after the session.
Thank you. And we'll get back to you on that question. And Hannah is asking or saying that she's very interested in the case contact role and how it can be used for emails sent on cases.
So basically, case contact roles, again, is a parity feature where for emails, what will happen is that all your case contact roles are part of the email that you're sending. And you can send an email to everyone who is listed as a contact role.
Great. Well, Elna, I think we're coming up to the end of the broadcast, so I'm going to turn it over to you. But remember, no questions are left behind, so we will get you answers over the next few days. And thank you for all of these great questions. Elna?
Yeah, thank you so much for all the questions. It's been great to see them all coming in, and there's lots of excitement about a lot of the things you showed. And what I really love about how everything works together, and everything, you can use part or all of it, and just you want to add something new, it just plugs right into your existing process. And so really great stuff. Thank you for being here today. And thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. And if we didn't get to your question live on the air, don't worry. We do have that no question left behind policy, and we will get back to you within the next few days. And we also have recorded this, so if you want to watch it back at any time or share it with people, feel free to do so. It'll be available probably later or today or tomorrow. And then also, we love to get your feedback. So if you could click on the link on the screen to the survey, let us know what you thought about our broadcast today and fill it out for each day that you've attended. We really like to get that information from you so we can improve in the future broadcasts. Now, I can't wait to have you back. Join us back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Pacific for Community Cloud, because as we said, lots of things work together, and there's lots of great things in communities that work really great with service as well. So come back for that at 9:30. And I also want to hear how you are using new features to innovate. So let's keep the conversation going in the Release Readiness Trailblazer community, where all of us are there to help you be release ready.